So tonight was pasta night, and I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but for me, I'm always so excited because I try not to eat too much pasta. Like once a week is pasta night, and I'm so excited, build up to pasta night, and I'm, getting ready, and I'm so stoked. But then I eat the pasta, and I'm like, oh my God, it's time for a nap now. Like to go from this high to is I don't know. It's the pasta fatigue that sets in afterwards. But so I did make my bucatini with tomato sauce, and I'm not going to take a nap because it's too early. So I figured I'll read a poem instead. And this is a classic poem by Sir John Suckling, who I don't know. It's hard to say that you admire the Cavalier poets because they were very macho, men's men, fox hunting, and wearing frilly blouses. But I think there's something good in that, and appreciating that poetry doesn't need to always be depressing. Like it doesn't always need to be a traumatic thing. I think a lot of modern poetry focuses too much on personal, painful incidents, and in some ways that can be bad because it's as great as it is to use journaling or poetry or writing as a form of therapy. You really have to ask yourself, once you move past this emotional point, like once you start the healing process, are you going to want to still read poetry? Are you still going to want to write poetry? Or is it just going to remind you of this really bad time? So it's something, I don't know. I try to not be too, it's easy for me to not be too emotional because I'm just not a sentimental person. But I think that for those who want to develop for a long time, for those who always want to enjoy poetry, exposing yourself to a variety means that you'll always have a different side of poetry to enjoy. So this is Sir John Suckling, and this was his most famous poem. It's a very short one, but it was from a play that he wrote, and I'm sure whatever play that was had to be ridiculous and over the top. I mean, in this book, this is the Dover edition of the Anthology of Cavalier Poets, but in this book it says, though Suckling was ridiculed by London wits for outfitting his militia with gorgeous scarlet coats and ostrich-plumed hats, his performance in the field raised him in the estimation of the king. So he's out there in fancy pants, like swashbuckling. I think there's something cool in that. But this is from his collection that was printed after he passed away, and it is called A Collection of All the Incomparable Pieces Written by Sir John Suckling. So they definitely tooted their own horn, and I don't know, sometimes that can be good. So this is called Song, or Why So Pale and Wane. Why so pale and wane, fond lover? Prithee, why so pale? Will, when looking well can't move her, looking ill prevail? Prithee, why so pale? Why so dull and mute, young sinner? Prithee, why so mute? Will, when speaking well can't win her, saying nothing do it? Prithee, why so mute? Quit, for shame, this will not move, this cannot take her. If of herself she will not love, nothing can make her, the devil take her.